Okay, so I've done some reviews on the Nespresso compatible pods, the Nespresso Classic line compatible pods, that is. A few of them, the most recent was the Lavazza, and up to date, they were the most compatible, the best tasting. And when I say most compatible, the biggest problem people have with compatible pods for the Nespresso Classic line is that the pods themselves, the compatibles generally will either fall in, don't sit right, don't extract all the coffee, just one problem after another. The biggest thing that I found, or the reasoning, is just simply the design of the compatible pods. This is the Lavazza. This is an original Nespresso. If you can see that now. This is their decaf line. But anyway, even though they're very similar, you can actually see it. I've done this in other videos. The design is actually different. You see how this comes to a cone shape. This is a flat shape. This is actually a touch bit smaller. If I hold them up right there, it's kind of hard to tell maybe from here, but this is just slightly higher. And that little bit of a difference, it's actually kind of significant when you hold it up. That little few millimeters makes a difference when you put it in that pod and where it's connecting and where it falls and rather. So they're not all equal, but thus far, Lavazza seems to work the best. I found found the Starbucks Nespresso compatible pods on sale on Amazon. Now, to be fair, you can get Nespresso pods when they're normally 85 cents to $1. If you join Nespresso, join their email, you get offers all the time, $15 off 60. It's about 20% off. So these on sale were not that much cheaper. These were about 60 cents each pod. Whereas on sale you can get these for, say, 70 cents, maybe a touch cheaper. So not a huge difference, but if you're a fan of Starbucks, it's worth a try. Now, here's the big difference between Nespresso compatibles such as the Lavazza or any of the others, Pete's, whatever it may be, and the Starbucks. Starbucks has a deal with Nespresso. Nespresso makes these pods for Starbucks, so you'll see they're identical. Same tops, they're all aluminum, same exact bottoms, and that's why they fit in perfectly and you get a perfect extraction every time. There's no issues with compatibility here, unlike all these other pods. Now, the one thing that you'll have to just keep in mind, those of you that are familiar with the 1 shot, 2 shots at Starbucks, sure, this is a great way to save money, and you absolutely can, but just keeping one thing in mind, which is the Starbucks pods are using about 5.5 grams of coffee, whereas a normal shot, it's actually 5, maybe 5.5. It's 50 cents by 10, but they have the weight of the pods. A normal shot will have 7 grams at least of espresso in there. So these shots, they do taste like Starbucks, but they are weaker. And so even just to get the normal taste, if you're making a latte, cappuccino, to come through any other liquid or milk, you need at least 2 of these. It's not the same as a 1 shot at Starbucks. So if you're used to a 2 shot latte, whatever, you may need 3 of these to make up for the difference. It is considered, their espresso is obviously their darkest roast, but it simply just doesn't taste as strong as Starbucks. So anyway, I just want to show you the extraction. I'll compare it to the Lavazza. The crema is a little bit bubbly, frothy. I don't know, for some reason Lavazza and the original Nespressos come out a lot smoother, but just as comparison to this compatibility, this is the Lavazza. And notice that couple of drips of water, that's part of the compatibility. I wrote about that in my other, mentioned that in my other review. If you do that a second time, if you put another Nespresso pod, Lavazza pod in there, that won't happen. That couple extra drips of water, for whatever reason, always happens on the first go. And you can see it's still full of crema. I'm gonna hold this up for a second after it stops dripping. I always like to get the extra drips. But you did notice, and I mentioned this in other reviews, some people have problems. I never have a problem losing those pods in there without them just dropping down, whatever. But it's still a nice cup or nice shot of espresso. And that's what I mean by, now you'll compare that to the Starbucks, but that's a clean, smooth crema. Let's load up Starbucks. Drop that in. And on mine, it runs for about 11-12 seconds, which is perfect. I measured it out. It does make a 1 ounce shot. But you can see already that it's kind of bubbly, a little frothy. And that happens on every shot. Not sure why. It does settle down. Let's see. A couple more drips. Smells good. And there you go. There's your crema. But pretty similar. Really, it's about the taste, and as I said, it does taste like Starbucks, does taste good, does smell good, but it's not as strong as you're used to. So if you're looking to put 1 or 2 of these shots into your latte, and you have a big latte or a cappuccino, you might be disappointed. If you put 3 of these shots in, you'll be good to go. It'll be as strong. But that's it. It's very simple. I mean, if you're willing to pay up, these are, now I mentioned, but you know, I said in the other one, Lavazza, if you get these on sale and you hunt around, I have a link in my description for the other video. You can get these sometimes, at least the CC of like 32 cents each, maybe 30 foot. So this is almost double the price. And you certainly still have to use 2 of them or so. So it's really a matter, I think what it comes down to is whether you're a fan of Starbucks or not. If you use the real original Nespressos, these, for whatever reason, if you use a Rosetto or anything like a number 10, 11 intensity, they are still stronger than the Starbucks. So from that perspective, you do get more value, because sometimes you only need 1 of these where you may need 2 of the Starbucks. So from a value standpoint, you know, it's not clear that these are any better value than the original Espresso line from Nespresso rather pods. If you do like Starbucks taste, then that's your reason for going with these, not because of price. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, subscribe down below, and I thank you for joining me.